Hi guys, Ian here. Welcome to another video and to my channel. Today I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you about our spiritual journey and what it is, or at least what I thought it was and what I think it is now. Now, if you consider yourself to be a spiritual person, and if you have a desire to know and to reach and touch the world behind the worlds in which you live, then some of this might feel familiar to you. You might know where I'm coming from. For the longest time, I was waiting for it to happen. And when I say it, what I mean is I kind of had an expectation that one day something would happen and I would be spiritual and I would have achieved that thing which I felt I needed to achieve. And I was kind of living with an expectation of some stunning and startling revelation that would fundamentally change me and excuse me, would have made me into something different than I was the day before, the moments before. It was like as if I was expecting a big event. And I've come to realize that my spiritual journey is not going to be that. It's going to be something different. And so I started thinking about, well, what is the purpose of a spiritual journey? What is it that, I am meant to achieve as a result of taking the journey? What is the journey? And what I've found now, I think, is that yes, it's a process rather than a destination. Sorry to use a cliche. But that I can define the process more clearly. Now, what I've learned and what I believe to be true now is that all things that exist start as a spiritual principle, and that all spiritual principles and archetypes flow down into their lower, less complex and more manifest forms. So to give you an example of that, like the original conception of creation that occurred within the divine being is at its highest spiritual peak, if you want, and that intention has flown down through the Sephira on the Tree of Life to become realized in 3D planet Earth physical manifestation. So there's been a descent through the planes of subtle and dense forms until we come to the reality that we know. And it's the same with all sorts and all types of spiritual experiences and expressions. So what I take from that is that my spiritual journey is meant to take me back to a clearer understanding, and more importantly, a clearer and true experience of my true spiritual self. And how might that occur? And how do I fit into that? Well, in the study of the mysteries, we learn that we are kind of tripartite beings, that we at our core have the splinter of divinity, the spirit of divine, the breath of divine life that animates us, that makes us children of God, our spirit. And then we have our individuality, which we can perhaps liken to our soul, our higher self, And then we have our personality, which is the Ian that is talking to you right now, the Ian that has been built over my 50 odd years of life as a result of my experiences and what I have made of those experiences. And those three aspects of me, though one being, currently are separate or separated, because yes, I am one being, but my personality and my individuality, there's a breach between them. My individuality and my spirit perhaps are not as in tune as they could be. And the whole of me, as a tripartite being, is not unified. And I think I've understood that my spiritual journey is aiming to take me back to a place of unification, that I might once more join with the unity from whence I came. So how will that occur? Well, let's reverse engineer what we just talked about. If everything starts at its highest spiritual archetype and manifests in its lowest expression in a material form, then the part of me that is associated with my material form here on earth is my personality. So could it be then that the experiences of my personality in this life can be used to teach me higher spiritual principles? I think it can. That from my life on 3D planet Earth and through my lives on 3D planet Earth, I might gain experience, I might gain understanding, knowledge and wisdom, which can teach me spiritual principles, which at the end of my life can be extracted from my life experience and can be absorbed by my individuality. That can be reflected back to my divine spark. That my divine spark becomes individuated, becomes wise in its own right. Does that make sense? And then I think of many lives. Now, for many years, coming from a fundamentalist Christian background, the idea of reincarnation was absolutely anathema to me. I couldn't comprehend it, couldn't contemplate it. But now I see the sense of it, that life on earth is like the celestial schoolroom, that we keep coming back, we keep returning to the class of life to learn the lessons that we must learn. And if we want to weave karma and the concept of karma into that, karma becomes the great teacher that returns us to the lesson time and time again until we have learnt it. Karma requires us to repay our debts. Why? That we could be punished? No, not at all. But that we might know the implications of our actions, that we might experience the consequences of what we do, that we might learn from it. Like the loving parent who makes the child do things that the child doesn't want to do, but which the child must do because of the lessons the child must learn. The parent is strict as an act of love, so that the child can grow into a valid, functional, worthwhile human being. And so, with karma, bringing us back to our lives, bringing us back to our mistakes. We might face them, that we might grow, we might learn, that we might become more than we were before. And so I think that is my spiritual journey, to experience life, not to run from it, to become cloistered, to become the hermit on the hill, as I once thought was the thing that would take me to the spiritual heights. Now, no, I don't see that. I see that living life is what will take me to the spiritual heights. Living life, learning from life, extracting from life every last ounce of teaching that it has to offer me. That from those experiences, I might learn the spiritual truths that lie behind them. So it's not going to be a once and done thing. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow enlightened. I'm not going to wake up the day after, the week after, the month after, the year after. Because enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment, comes through life, comes through living. So don't run away from life. Don't run away from your experiences. And regardless of how hard they are, and believe me, I don't mean this to sound glib, because some people have very hard lives. And most of us go through really hard times in our life at some time or other. But however bad it is, there will be some good in it. Perhaps not immediately visible now, but it will be there, because there will be something about you that is changed as a result of that experience. There will be some spiritual truth that will be yours to be extracted from it, that will contribute to your learning journey, to your spiritual evolution. And if your lesson is learned, if you have extracted what you need to extract from that experience, you won't need to repeat it. Sounds kind of weird, mystic, crazy, but it makes sense to me. It really makes perfect sense. I feel it in my experience, in my mind, in my knowing of what is right. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you, and be happy to hear your comments if anybody has any. So I'll see you guys soon, and bye for now. Thanks for watching.